We are celebrating 125 years here at Bethany as a church, and one of the things we want to do is share some stories from some of our Bethany family, and some of the stories might connect with some of you. And one of the stories that we wanted to share today is Toni Beatrice. And so Toni, I got a few questions for you. How long have you been coming to Bethany?
9 years.
And what was it that initially drew you to Bethany or brought you to Bethany?
Initially, it was a person who brought me to Bethany, but the reason that I continued to come was in my church shopping. A lot of the other churches in town that I went to felt very chaotic or like had this buzzingness about them that made my anxious self even more anxious. But when I came to Bethany, it felt like I was walking into the living room of a family member, and there was this sense of peace and calmness. The same fire for Jesus, but just a little bit more of like a steady calm.
So you mentioned the people of Bethany. Can you be a little bit more specific about some of those individuals and who that would be and how you came to get to know them?
Yeah, so right off the top of my head, the people of Bethany would absolutely start with Robin Abels and then your wife, Courtney, primarily because of getting me here in the building for other reasons, pickleball, RevFit, things like that. But our Sunday school class is probably the biggest source of the people of Bethany for me, just from connecting with people who are on a different portion of their journey towards Christ, some still in the very beginning phases, but just having that familiarity every single Sunday, talking about life, connecting it to Scripture. Jennifer, for instance, when I was doing a study on my own, she reached out to me and was like, I think you need some help. And not in a condemning kind of way, just like where can I put
in a caring way?
Thoughts? Yeah. Absolutely in a caring way. More of like, hey, where are you? Can I sit with you and go through this together? Which has led to a 3-year-long relationship where we are doing different studies, kind of the two of us. These are names that I say often in my home that my family knows. And so even if my family's not here, these are familiar names to them that are getting brought up. They're people of Bethany who I know are showing up and praying for and just living life with us.
So you talked a little bit about what it was that drew you to Bethany and that you've been here for 9 years. Can you talk a little bit about what life was like before Bethany came into your life?
Yeah, so I did not grow up in a church. People talked about church, people talked about God, mainly at funerals or moments of sadness, but up to the point of me coming to Bethany, I was super anxious, dealt really hard with lots of anxiety and probably some depression. Sort of felt like I had no other place to go, which is why I had reached out to Robin and said, like, I need help. I don't know what to do. I'm church shopping. I just think that maybe this is it. And she's the one who said, come to Bethany. Her exact words to me were, just get here. And I said, what do I need to wear? And she said, I don't care, clothes. I said, what about my kids? She said, bring them crying. It's fine, we will take care of them. Went through with, what if my husband doesn't want to come? And she said, just get here. So the first month, I think I sat in the Sunday pews just during big church or main service and cried the whole time until I could like acclimate myself to the peace that was around me. Then she got me into the Sunday school where I kind of dove in a little bit, but that is where I think the difference was. It wasn't meet me in the parking lot and walk into a building, but Robin was very insistent on just getting me in here where I could literally like taste it and see it and feel it and have that here. One of my major concerns when starting a new church or a church was, what about my children? And so not being grown up in a church, I wasn't really sure what that would look like. But when I came, like Robin said, just come, my kids fell in place automatically. Taylor had some connections with the children's minister and some people that were doing religious education. When I took Jordan up to the attic for youth, she knew majority of the kids there from school. So even though I was hesitant or afraid of what it would look like for them, all of the pieces fell into the right order and everything worked out.
So what I'm hearing is it's a huge part of what really then, once you got here, what kept you in place, it was the relationships. It was the people that you kind of knew, but then it was the people that you began to get to know through the midst of it. And you know, having your kids being taken care of by all of these people that were already here and welcoming them with open arms and loving them the way that you were hoping they would get loved and hoping they would be cared for in that way. And so, you know, thank goodness for people like Fern and Tisha and Chris and the countless other names that we can go through, and thank goodness for people like that we can drop our kids off to and say, hey, can you just love them for a little bit? Can you walk with them? And as we look at going forward into the next 125 years of Bethany, what are some of the hopes that you have for Bethany in the next 125 years?
I would hope that Bethany would stay authentic. The world changes and it compromises on a lot, and the people of Bethany have been consistent for the 9 years I've been here, truly loving God and using that to love other people well. I just really hope for the next 125 that the people of Bethany continue to be the people in and outside of Bethany, because I think that church is definitely more than just a building.
Well, thank you for taking some time to share your Bethany story and how Bethany has impacted you, but also know that you are impacting other people's lives too, that you are a part of the fabric of Bethany, and will continue to be that, hopefully laying the foundation for the next 125 years. So thank you for taking some time to share your faith story and Bethany story with us today. Thank you.
No problem.